If the housing shortage was bad for St. Louis in general, it was impossible for African Americans. The growing black population was still confined to certain neighborhoods by a wall of paper, legal documents called restrictive covenants, which limited property ownership in certain areas to whites only. It was done all over the country to segregate housing, and it was legal. But that too would change in this decade, after a black family named Shelley moved into this house at 4600 Labadie, on a block that was supposed to be just for whites. Their fight to stay would lead to a landmark civil rights decision.
I sat at our breakfast table every morning and listened to Shelley versus Kramer for about 3 years, I think. Because
Margaret Bush Wilson's parents were active in the local NAACP, and her father was one of the realtors involved in the Shelley case.
it was not set up to be a test case at all. Shelley's just wanted a place to live. It was just that simple. They had come from Mississippi. They had lots of children. And they were living with relatives. In this climate, when St. Louis, like many of these cities, was overcrowded in a section of the city where blacks could live.
St. Louis attorney George Vaughn took Shelley versus Kramer all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. NAACP attorney Thurgood Marshall joined Vaughn in arguing the case, and they won. The court said racial restrictions on property ownership were unenforceable. The Shelleys had broken through the wall.
Here in St. Louis, for the first time, our people could go outside Taylor Avenue and buy a house, go beyond Natural Bridge and buy a house, and go past Delmar and buy a house. We were just that contained. So in that sense, I think it had enormous impact.
But well into the 1950s, the newspaper real estate ads reflected the reality of where people could and could not live.